interwebs. Tis I, Sebastian Returnally, and this is F3G2, coming at you live after a brief hiatus from the back of Famous Phases and Funny. And I'm in a hat with a cape. It's got a cape, because one of my students gave me a hat with a cape. Because it's a hat with a cape, and they know me. So, there you go. Alright, our reviews for this week, we're going to kick it off with Injustice League. It's Justice League 3000, where they make clones of, well, they're not clones, they're the nanite altered DNA virus done all the memories. So they get a Bane, a Sinestro, Mirror Master, Lois Lane, because, you know, why not? And Zeus, because, you know, sometimes you need a Zeus to be a bad guy. But really, the reviews for this week end with, you know, these guys open up this cryonic chamber on the planet Takran Galtos, which prison planet of Takran Galtos, which is formerly known as Earth. And somewhere on there they find this cryogenic chamber, and they don't know, and they open it up and they say, "I got one question, yeah? Who the hell are they?" "Oh, it's them." "Yeah, that's it." So the boys are back in town. Life is good, and that's it for our show. There's no need to review any of the book. I'll review a couple other books. Batman Eternal continues to be really good. This time you get the most unlikely Brave and the Bold team up ever. That's right, Alfred Pennyworth and Bane fighting their way out of the ruins of what was once Arkham Asylum. Eventually they kind of turn on each other, and Bane is the man who broke the bat. Bane is a badass. He broke the bat. Alfred takes him down like that. Because Penny won. So good. All new X Factor number... This is number 16. Makes me sad because it's going to be ending soon. So good. And it also makes me sad because part of the reason they're ending it is they wanted Quicksilver back to put on the Avengers because, you know, Avengers movie, Quicksilver should be in the Avengers.
Really?
And they told him, "No, we're taking it," and yada, yada, yada. Which is a shame because most of the focus of this issue is Quicksilver saying how he doesn't want to go back to the Avengers. And it's really good. And Danger, the sentient Danger Room, reveals that she does have some strong feelings for Warlock when Warlock gets taken down by some of the pilot-driven Sentinels. And then everyone just gets the hell out of the way because they're like, "What?" They made her mad. They made Danger mad. Danger is pissed. They're like, she's like, you hurt Warlock. And she just, you know, she's like, I was letting my other hero, the teammates, you know, they like to strut their stuff and feel like they're doing good, but my power is I can control machines." And she just makes them shoot each other till there's just the pilots left going, "Ah." So good, so good. You know, let me hunt through here and do two books together with this because
I love that last
issue. For whatever reason, I read them in strange order sometimes. Actually, I read them mostly in alphabetical order is what happens. So this was under S and this was under A. All right. Amazing Spider-Man number 9, Spider-Verse Part 1, and Spider-Verse Team Up number 1. Both were good. All right. The good thing about the Marvel multiverse is there's like infinite worlds. So they're like killing the Spideys left and right. But, you know, they can always go ahead and crunch. I'll make more. Dan Slott was meant to write Spider-Ham. He just was. And it's great that everyone from every Spider-Man from every world always has the same reaction to the presence of Spider-Ham. He's a cartoon pig. And Spider-Ham gets some great lines. So this was really good. This was even better. And I'm going to say it's because of two words. I mean, nothing against Dan Slott, but Christos Gage. You get this great... They pick up Ben Reilly, and by they I mean Old Man Spider, and Spider-Ham go and pick up Ben Reilly, and it's just great. But oddly, even though Christos Gage is like one of my pantheon of writers. Classic Roger Stern. There's a backup in here by Roger Stern and Bob McLeod. So it's already like great classic Marvel week, with this backup story. But it's a happy story about a Peter Parker who gets and Peter Parker and Aunt May and a Uncle Ben who get a happy ending, and it involves the six-armed Spider-Man of Earth, whatever the hell, and SpiderMan Noir, who doesn't understand why the six-armed Spider-Man keeps calling him Bogart. He's like, why do you keep calling me? Why is it? Because he doesn't know who Humphrey Bogart is. It's like, why do you keep calling me that? But it's funny. It was some good stuff. Men of Wrath is great. Men of Wrath number 2. This is Jason Aaron and Ron Garney. It's about the Wrath family, and they appropriately enough have some anger issues, and it's called Heir of the Dog, which is a pun because they spell it air, not hair. It's Heir of the Dog, and it ends badly for several horses and a little kid, and it's not really going great for a lot of people, but looks like we're going to have father-son conflict with the Men of Wrath. Really good. You should read this. Very, very, very dark, and I don't know what the right descriptor is, but it's really good. Rocket Raccoon. Great issue in which Rocket and Groot are telling stories to kids in like a space camp, and Groot wants Rocket to tell a story that Rocket's like, oh, I hate that story. I don't want to tell the one about the map. He goes, fine, you tell it. So Groot tells them the story. So we get the visuals a la flashback, but every word balloon, every character is just saying, I am Groot, because Groot's telling the story. And it is so good. And then at the end, the big payoff is Rocket asleep, and a bunch of kids going, did you understand? I didn't understand any of that. And then there's this kid with a little leaf head who's clapping, and he's like, oh man, that was a great story, Mr. Groot. Just fantastic. And what else do you need? Gotham Academy number 2. The mystery deepens. And it's really good. And the art is gorgeous. This is just a fun book. Lately that private school comic theme has been very popular. Hell, even I'm doing one. But
shameless plug.
This one, it takes place in Gotham, and that gives it that certain edge that no other one of these kind of books can have, because Gotham is a character in itself, and we know, we're familiar with certain key Gothamites, so there's a plus. And I can't stress the art enough. This is let's see. Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher with art by Carl Kerschel. It's so good, and this one involves the diary of it's like Penguin's great grandmother or something. What's it? Millie Jane Cobblepot, and she's got secrets, and there's like this secret kind of, the kids have a secret cult within the school, and there's like teen drama meets supernatural in Gotham.
Oh yeah, no question, it's Gotham.
I don't even know why that's in there. Swamp Thing number 36. I'm gonna cry when Charles Soule is officially done and joins his Marvel thing full time. This is so good. Why is no one reading this? It's so. We get the reunion of Swampy and Abigail. We find out that Arcane is back on the loose, and we get some more progression of the new. You got the green, the red, whatever. Well, now you've got the green, the red, the gray, the machine. Black, whatever. Well, now you've got the machine. I guess it's the silver, and the computer, the machine is picking an avatar, and yeah, it's somebody that Swampy just really pissed off recently, so that's not going to go well. Action Comics with a Lego cover, because Lego cover. This is Action Comics number 36, and it was okay. It seems a little too reminiscent of right before the New 52. Jeff Lemire was writing Superboy, and there was, creepy alien undergoings beneath the city and beneath the town of Smallville, and it's pretty much what's happening here. So it's okay, but I just reread that in trade. Green Arrow 36 is okay. I stopped buying the book. I was loving Jeff Lemire. The trick with this is it's if you're a fan of the show, this is written by the guys who write the show, and it's very much, there's a lot of, it feels like the show. Unfortunately, and in this they reiterate, in the last issue they just kind of off-panel wrote off and just had a panel with someone's telling Oliver, hey, your entire supporting cast, so-and-so, Emiko is training, and the other two, one almost died, so he left, and she went with him, and, your whole cast is gone. We're going to just introduce the comic book equivalent of the cast from the show. Only thing that I think could make that really great for me is if they're able to steal Roy away from Red Hood and the Outlaws and salvage that character. But for the most part, it ends up just kind of falling into a weird line of, there's already the Arrow comic that is based in the TV show universe. So this
seems unnecessary.
now feels a lot like the show, but can't be the show because it's in comic. So it ends up falling into a weird stuck in between. It's not Arrow, but it's not Green Arrow anymore either. It's like Pocket Universe, lowercase green, capital Arrow. I don't know. Axis number 4. The X-Men are through being kicked around and are now deferring to their ultimate leader, Apocalypse, because
of course
Genesis is all grown up now and is Apocalypse. Tony's a douche and drinking. Spidey is baffled by Carnage's good deeds, and the Avengers are still acting prickish. Red Skull has escaped, and when Hulk gets sad, Claw comes out. We've seen Claw before. That's Hulk backwards. Kind of speaks Shakespearean, or at least he used to. And now he just looks kind of weird and mohawky and is like emo Hulk. So far, this hasn't been my thing. I don't know. I'll tell you.
We just have the Professor and Mr. Fix-It back.
It's a story that happens. The Hulk, number 8. Now, oddly, I haven't been liking this so much since the whole shift of he's Doc Green now and he's smart and he's... This was a good issue. Even though the fact that they made Betty like a secret assassin responsible for... Well, spoiler in 3, 2, 1. She's responsible for Banner getting shot.
Oops.
It was her call. They have like a thing going on. It's the Marvel Universe equivalent of, the Loom in Wanted, where, if your name comes up, you have to... Well, they've got a machine that does it, and it said Bruce Banner. So she said, fine, and had someone shoot him in the head. And now Banner's name is gone, so she's changed it, but she realizes she made a different kind of monster by making Doc Green, who still has some clear issues of anger despite his usual overwhelming. But it was good. I can't describe what about it I liked, but I did. I think I'm starting to come around to. I'm just hoping, that like with all the change the world forever changes that Marvel keeps throwing out, that as always it'll be temporary. Wolverine's dead. Sure he is. Hell, even that seemed a bit weird. But we'll get to that later. So I'm hoping that we'll have a regular Hulk back. But for right now.
We'll see.
This could be interesting. Legendary Starlord. Starlord versus a Skrull in a battle of the minds. And oddly, Starlord wins. And there's like a team, they're called the Squad. They're like an anti-Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got like a Shi'ar Death Hunter, a Centurion that looks like a female Yondu, a Snark that's like a kind of lizard frog guy, a Badoon, and the priest from Planet X. They work for, and a Skrull that shifts and does Skrulliness, and they work for Mr. Knife, and they're gonna this unofficially kicks off the crossover event that they're gonna have, which is gonna be what do you call it? The black vortex. Like they even worked the logo in. So check that out. The Humans, weird little image book. It's a talking gorilla motorcycle gang called the Humans. It's like Sons of Anarchy with apes. There's like one like mental problem having orangutan who still looks like an orangutan, whereas the rest of them are more anthropomorphic apes. If you ever wondered about reading a book about Planet of the Apes meets Sons of Anarchy and see like chimp on orangutan, 60s underground comic style weird sex going on, and this is your book. If that hasn't been anything you've ever been interested in, it may not work for you.
Maybe.
Hey, look, the Weapon X program, Death of Wolverine, the Weapon X program. This is the one I was telling you about. There's a guy who calls himself Sharp. He wears a weird gas mask. We see his face throughout the book in the beginning, and he's just some guy we don't recognize. But he's really good. Like, how do you get so good at, like fighting and espionage kind of stuff? And when he looks in the mirror, he sees old man Wolverine face, and he says, I can't remember how I got this good. So I don't know what's going on there. But
Another clone, maybe?
it's like Superior Spider. There's like a Wolverine, an amnesiac Wolverine trapped in somebody else. I don't know. Tooth and Claw #1 was good. Another anthropomorphic world. It's like realistic anthropomorphism with magic. So it's a fantasy world of talking animals. There's this dog trade master wizard that's kind of a douche to the bison people. There's a warthog lady who tries to save the city by magic is dying. She tries to channel magic, does it, but at the cost of cancels out the spells on their city, which make their city fall. It kind of floats on magic. And now the pissed off and betrayed bison people are coming in for revenge. But a fox lady on a giant cockroach is watching it all. Sounds really weird, but it was pretty cool. Aquaman and the Others, #7. Gorgeous art, really good story. And we get Cheshire, we get KG Beast, and we get the origin of the death of one of the spirits living in the mind of Prisoner of War, only to find out that the man who killed this spirit within Prisoner of War is no one else than dun dun dun, the Operative, another member of Aquaman and the Others. What? And I'm glad, I don't know if it's a clone, is he a clone or isn't he, but they brought back Volstock, and he's like Vostok is like, Vostok clone, possible clone, is like my favorite member of the team right now.
About Prisoner.
We'll make it my second favorite because
There you go.
Prisoner War is like my favorite character in the new 52. Bloodshot number 25, so good. There's a bunch of little short stories, but the best part of this whole book, I mean, all of it was good, but the best part is this: Bloodshot's Guide to Home Safety by Justin Jordan and Rafer Roberts, and he's got advice like, don't smash your toaster to bits because you believe it's spying on you. Do unplug it and then feed it counter intel. Do remember where you put the tripwire. All this great stuff of, don't be afraid to talk to your neighbors so you have someone to turn to in case of an emergency. Do make sure they're not Harada sleeper agents instructed to kill you. And then there he is all messed up his house is on fire, neighbor's dead. He's like, just follow these easy tips and your home could be as safe and secure as mine. So, it was good. It was a heartbreaking story in the beginning. There's some Howard Chaykin in here. Good stuff. Damon number 5. I would show you the trade, but I didn't bring it back here. Trade number 1 is out, $9.99. Such a great book. Beautiful to look at. The idea being vampires have daemon. They are basically like butler, assassin, gopher, intern, personal assistants.
Renfield.
If Renfield was like...
Sane?
No, that's not the word I'm looking for. If Renfield was like the ultimate multitasking, ninja skilled accountant, butler, assistant. If all you had was a guy who just stood around going and asking to eat flies, it wouldn't work out. And David, our guy here, is, indirectly responsible for some major problems that he's trying to fix, even though he knows it will probably kill him to do so. It's just really good, and the Brian Steele Freeze art is gorgeous. Earth 2, number 28, and Earth 2, World's End, number 5. This one is like the secret origin of Apocalypse's 4 horsemen, the 4 horsewomen of Apocalypse, and they work for Darkseid. So they're from Apocalypse. You see that happens there. One of them is the Earth 2 equivalent of it's a Zarnian. She was a friend of Earth 2's Lobo. You got death, you got war, and you got famine. And famine is from War World. Freaking war is just a crazy little bitch. And death had her baby die and now is forever pregnant as the mother of death, or some metaphor there. So it was pretty cool. World's End number 5 was actually really, really good. And we meet the other avatars of the realm of the white, the blue, the red, as they all team up and say, look, our avatars are going to have to work with you guys, but Solomon Grundy, avatar of the gray, and Green Lantern, avatar of the green, you guys need to get over your shit, because World's End, it's right there in the title, World's End. You need to stop that. So, well, it was pretty cool. Grayson, number 4, keeps being so much better than it should be. Poor Dick. Not only does he lose his personality in the first place, but while female college spies in training chase him around, he's not supposed to be outed yet, so the director, Mr. Minus whatever, of Minos, of the head of Spiral, gives him his new role. He's like, well, since your cover is blown, you will now teach 2 classes of acrobatics a week. Your new cover identity is that of a French former Olympic gymnast, and whose face is so indistinct as to be unmemorable, and who is gay. Can't have the girls getting all riled up again, can we? Distraction is the enemy of education, And then the other spy who's in charge of setting up, he's like, I hope you can master your accent by Friday. Your first class will be 8 p.m. Will be 8 a.m. Will there be anything else? And she's like, a gay French gymnast? I'll be writing stories about you, Agent 37. Sexy stories. So, but he kind of bonds with Helena, so a little yin with the yang. And we get some more Midnighter, so it's all good. Imperial number 4 may very well be the last issue of Imperial. I don't know, because there's never anything. The story starts on the inside front cover and ends on the inside back cover. So there's no room for them to tell us anything else about it. And I don't pay attention when I order stuff, so I don't know if there's more coming. But it's really good. If this is how it ends, there's a twist I didn't see coming. It took a ballsy move on the usual, potential replacement hero, and it goes a whole separate route with it, and it was really, really good. You should read that. Lobo number 2 was good, not as good as number 1 because I don't like the new supporting cast. They're whiny, pointless humans, and yeah, that's the point, is that they get to make Lobo go, I shouldn't be saddled with these people, they're holding me back. But unfortunately, I feel they're also holding back the story. Also, it was a bit weird, more so than in the first one. In this one, Lobo spends the whole time we're reading his thoughts as well as his monologuing, and he sounds like Lobo, which is why it throws me so much to keep seeing this Lobo. I mean, it's good. It's Cullen Bunn, I love it, and but it throws me. It's one of those things where I'm liking it, but not being fully immersed in the book because I'm too busy being aware of going, wow, it's weird that I like this, and then not liking certain things. Like
the main man.
On the one hand, I'm thrown by the that's not the real Lobo, but on the other hand, I'm thrown by, I don't like this cast. They're holding back this Lobo, so apparently I've bought into this Lobo while rebelling against this. So I don't know. I'm a mess. Cullen Bunn is playing with my emotions. I was a mess beforehand, but this isn't helping.
Nope.
New 52, Futures End, number 27. Stuff happens. Lois talks to... Mostly what I remember is Batman fights Batman Beyond. And that's going to go further in the next issue. That's mostly what I remember. Real Heroes, number 4. I almost forgot what had happened in Real Heroes up to that. But this is the one where there's another world where... There's a world like ours that has their version of the Avengers or the Pantheon, and they're at like the premiere of their movie when all of a sudden someone comes through and says, there's a world where you guys actually are heroes and they all died and I need you to replace them and take some with them. But it finds out it's much more complicated than that, as this issue gives us the origin of what the hell is really happening. But it's written, drawn, and created by Brian Hitch, so it's gorgeous. It's slow coming out because Brian Hitch, but it's gorgeous because Brian Hitch. So I read it because Brian Hitch. Sixth Gun, more Cullen Bunn. Sixth Gun, Cullen Bunn. Sixth Gun number 44. So this issue is a slight change of pace in the way it's told. It's all told in like narrative and not so much on the dialogue, but they're riding the Thunderbirds and fighting the Grey Witch and her snake people, and sacrifices were made, just an entire town, and every time it looks like our crew of ragtag wannabe heroes is making headway, things don't really go in their favor. But it's so good. Read this, buy the trades, get them all. Yes! Superman Unchained number 9 ended. The Woods number 7. This book is so good. James Tynion and Michael Dialynas. And it's Dialynas. So good. So good. Private school gets sucked to alien planet, finds out other planets, other people from different time periods apparently have been sucked to this other planet. The planet itself is some form of living weapon. Aliens on it are crazy. There's a space monkey thing called Dr. Robot. What's not to love? It was so good. I was starting to get the picture of. We saw a little bit further behind the curtain than we have so far. It's so good. You should totally read that. Turok number 8. Art-wise, this issue was weird because there's like 2 artists. One guy kind of bookends it, and his art's that art's a little weaker. Everything looks kind of generic, and but the middle art got a lot better. But this time, Turok is playing sort of Tarzan meets John Smith. He's going to England because they came over. The English came over. They're the ones who brought their dinosaurs. In Europe, you ride dinosaurs and called them dragons. Native America, they didn't have that till people showed up and started just. And now Turok rides. He's not so much a dinosaur hunter as he is a hunter with a dinosaur. He rides Frankie, his like Velociraptor, and he's going to Europe and getting caught up in some political intrigue on his way. So it's just good. I'm surprised by how much I love Dynamite's Turok. Also from Dynamite, we've got Game of Thrones, which is so far behind everything else. Still in the first book, we only just got up. Look, my wife loves this cover. It's 2 of her favorite characters. It's the Sansa cover because there's Sandor and Sansa. So we only just got up to the standing on the bridge staring at my daddy's head scene with Sansa and Joffrey. Gorgeous art, really good adaptation that kind of gives a little closer to the book than the show does. It's surprising to me how underrated this is. I mean, it comes out really few and far between, so I get that. But you would think there'd be a bigger fanfare for anything Game of Thrones.
I think it's just because it's so far behind.
John Carter, Warlord of Mars, number 1. He's Warlord of Mars, and it's written by Ron Mars, so it's the Warlord of Mars.
You're the only one laughing, like usual.
I think it's funny. I think who's better to write Warlord of Mars than Ron Mars? It makes sense. I don't understand why it took till now. But is good. The art is gorgeous. Our princess is reddish. That's for some reason that's one of my critiques in the comics. Every time they shift a different series or a different art team on the various, the red Princess of Mars gets less and less red. She's not very red on the cover, but she's got red highlights on the inside, so it is good. But it was a lot of fun, and it's just look at that page. It's like it's got that classic old school sci-fi feel that, or really it's sci-fantasy or just fantasy feel that that John Carter should have, and it was just good. I was very happy with it. So, I do.